The next day, the whole village was talking. Did you see the car yesterday? Why was that rich man talking to Amara? Maybe she did something wrong. Amara tried to ignore the whispers. Early that morning, she went back to the roadside to sell fruits, like she always did. Her dress was simple, and her sandals were worn out, but her beauty and quiet confidence made people notice her. Around noon, the same black luxury car appeared again. Everyone in the market stopped what they were doing. The billionaire stepped out of the car and walked straight to Amara. Her heart started beating fast. Why did he come back? She thought. He smiled when he saw her. Good afternoon, Amara. She was surprised he remembered her name. Good afternoon, sir, she replied softly. He looked at her basket of fruits and then at her tired hands. You shouldn't be here every day working this hard, he said. Amara lowered her eyes. This is the only way I can help my mother, she answered. The man was silent for a moment. Then he said something that shocked everyone around them. I have a job for you in the city. The villagers started whispering again. A village girl working for a billionaire? That can never happen. Amara was nervous. Why me? She asked quietly. The billionaire looked at her with a serious expression. Because yesterday, you were the only person who didn't treat me like a rich man. You treated me like a normal person. Amara didn't know what to say, but deep inside, she felt something strange, something new.
That night, Amara could not sleep. The billionaire's words kept repeating in her mind. I have a job for you in the city. She looked at the small house she shared with her mother. The walls were made of mud and the roof leaked when it rained. Life had never been easy. The next morning, the black car returned to the village. People gathered around again, curious and shocked. Amara's heart was beating fast as the billionaire stepped out of the car. Are you ready? He asked gently. Amara looked at her mother. Her mother nodded slowly. Go, my daughter. Opportunities like this don't come twice. With a deep breath, Amara stepped into the car. It was the first time in her life sitting in such a car. As they drove toward the city, Amara stared through the window at the tall buildings, busy roads, and bright lights. Everything felt like a dream. When they finally arrived, the car stopped in front of a huge glass building. Amara looked up in shock. Where are we? She asked softly. The billionaire smiled. This is my company. Her eyes widened. You own this, he nodded. But before she could say anything else, a woman in an expensive suit walked toward them. She looked Amara up and down with a cold expression. Sir, the woman said to the billionaire, the board members are waiting for you. Then she looked at Amara again and whispered quietly, girls like you don't belong here. Amara felt her heart sink. But what she didn't know was that the billionaire had already made a decision that would change both of their lives forever. Amara stood quietly in the large company lobby. Everything around her was shining, glass walls, expensive furniture, and people walking quickly with laptops and phones. She had never seen a place like this before. But the woman in the expensive suit kept staring at her. Her name was Vanessa, the billionaire's assistant, and secretly, she had always hoped to marry him one day. Vanessa crossed her arms, looking Amara up and down with a smirk. You must be the special project from the village, she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. He has such charitable hobbies. Amara felt embarrassed, but stayed respectful. Yes, he said there might be work for me. Vanessa let out a small, sharp laugh. Work? Oh, sweetie? I think you're confused. We have a cleaning crew for that. Some employees nearby started snickering. Amara's cheeks became red with shame. Just then, the billionaire walked out of the elevator and noticed what was happening. Is there a problem here? He asked, his voice firm. Vanessa's smile vanished. No, sir, I was just welcoming our guest. The billionaire turned to Amara. Come with me. Everyone watched in shock as he led her into the elevator. Inside the elevator, Amara looked nervous. Sir, maybe I should go back to the village, she said softly. I don't belong here. The billionaire looked at her seriously. Amara, listen to me. He paused for a moment and then said something that completely surprised her. I didn't bring you here to be a worker. Amara looked confused. Then why did you bring me here? He smiled slightly. Because I believe you're meant for something much bigger than the life you've been living. But outside the elevator, Vanessa was watching everything on the security camera. Her eyes were full of jealousy, and she whispered angrily to herself, Enjoy your little fantasy, village girl. I'll make sure you're back in the mud by the end of the week. The next morning, Amara arrived at the company again. Everything still felt strange to her. The tall building, the busy workers, the expensive clothes everyone wore. She held the small bag she brought from the village and walked carefully inside. But Vanessa was already waiting. She smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Good morning, village girl," Vanessa said quietly. Amara greeted her politely. "Good morning." Vanessa handed her a large pile of documents. "If you want to stay here, prove you deserve it," she said. Amara looked confused. "I don't understand these papers." Vanessa leaned closer and whispered coldly, "That's exactly the point." For the whole day, Vanessa gave Amara difficult tasks she had never done before. Some employees laughed at her. Others whispered behind her back. By evening, Amara felt exhausted and embarrassed. Maybe Vanessa was right. Maybe she really didn't belong here. Just as she was about to leave the building quietly, the billionaire walked in and saw her standing alone. "Amara, what happened?" he asked. She tried to smile. "Nothing. I was just leaving." But he noticed the stack of papers in her shaking hands. He turned to Vanessa. "Who gave her all this work?" Vanessa crossed her arms confidently. "I did. If she wants to work here, she must prove she's capable." The room became silent. The billionaire looked at Vanessa with a serious expression. Then he said something that shocked everyone. "I never said she was here to prove anything." He walked toward Amara and gently took the papers from her hands. "She's here because I chose her." Vanessa's face turned pale with anger. But what Amara didn't know yet was that Vanessa was already planning something much worse to get rid of her. Vanessa sat alone in her office that night. Her face was full of anger. How can he defend a village girl in front of everyone? She whispered to herself. Vanessa had worked with the billionaire for years. She believed she was the only woman who deserved to be close to him. But now, Amara was standing in her way, and Vanessa had a plan. The next morning, Vanessa called Amara. "I have a simple task for you," she said with a fake smile. Amara nodded politely. Vanessa handed her an expensive company laptop and a file. "Take this to the conference room upstairs. The boss needs it for an important meeting." Amara carefully carried the laptop and file. But what she didn't know was that Vanessa had secretly hidden a very important contract inside the file. If that contract disappeared, someone would be blamed. And Vanessa already knew who. Later that afternoon, the company was in chaos. "The contract is missing," one manager shouted. "That document is worth millions." Another said. Everyone began searching everywhere. Then Vanessa spoke calmly. "I think Amara was the last person holding that file." All eyes turned to Amara. Her heart started racing. I didn't take anything," she said nervously. But the room was already full of suspicion. Just then, the billionaire walked in. "What's going on here?" Vanessa stepped forward. "Sir, the contract disappeared after Amara carried the file." The room became silent. Amara felt tears in her eyes. "I promise I didn't steal anything," she said softly. The billionaire looked at her carefully. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he spoke in a calm voice. "I trust her." Everyone gasped in shock. But Vanessa smiled quietly, because the real trap had only just begun.